You in?
That's yes.
This is the Bunzerelly Show.
Coming off of a shaky start, firing directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller, and we switched over to Ron Howard. This thing's had a rocky, troubled past. A little bit scary for all of us, but that teaser dropped and everything's looking pretty strong. I was pretty excited about it. Joining me today, very special guest, I have Orlando comedian Tim Murphy, also part of his own podcast, Poking the Bear, with Ryan Holmes and Charlie Bowie. Tim, welcome to the show. What were your initial thoughts about the trailer?
I think it might have been a little too late. I'm kind of worried about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming out real soon, which is unusual for them to delay releasing something so, till it's so close to the release date.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks fun. I would have liked to see more Orlando in there.
Yeah, there were a lot of concerns about that, even up to, the consensus about these things are pretty consistent, like, your Twitter and your Facebook, and the fans kind of like-minded people kind of think alike. And a lot of people were wondering why they moved the date to May, whereas the episodic movies have been coming out in December, and then these standalones have been coming out in December. And people were kind of thinking, like, are they trying to hide something? And the latest scare was because of Super Bowl, and they announced that this was going to be released on Good Morning America. People were a little skeptical about that, but they still paid that money for that Super Bowl teaser before the trailer. So I don't know where their head's at with it. That's the parts that, like, make me skeptical, but the actual content itself, I originally said, like, okay, they need to sell us Han Solo. I don't know if they sold me that, but they definitely sold me the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go see it. I think it's too big to fail, really.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've got so much inertia and such a built-up brand, like, it'll make its budget back. Whether it'll be a $1 billion movie like the rest of them have been is up to see. But, I mean, I don't like the idea of changing directors.
Mm-hmm.
So late in the game.
Yes.
And Ron Howard's great and all, but he is definitely different than them other boys.
They've had a history of that. Even episode 9, they kind of changed directors mid-course. There's something about the way Kathleen Kennedy's running that ship. And I don't know what it is, but it seems like if they don't play ball, they're out because, like I said, it's that rocky start and those concerns.
I don't know. It might even be the opposite. It might be because they're so strong of a production company,
mm-hmm.
and Kathleen Kennedy knows what she's doing. So she needs someone to give what her idea is, not someone to make their idea come out. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. It's like she has this vision of, where she wants to move with the brand.
Yeah, I think Disney's not bad at this.
No.
Disney knows what it's doing. They've got all that talent from all the Marvel movies too. Plus,
mm-hmm.
Disney knows what they're doing. So I've got faith in it at least being a decent movie. I don't think they're ever going to release a bad Star Wars movie.
I don't think so either.
They're releasing a lot of them though. I mean,
mm-hmm.
It's kind of scary, but they've got the money to get whatever kind of talent they need for it, though.
Yes.
So, on the other hand, I'm not that worried. I'm looking forward to seeing how they saw where he was, like, applying for the Pilot Academy for the Empire.
Yes.
I kind of want to see where that goes.
Yeah, where did that transition go? Like, because that's part of, like, the canon from the expanded universe, which I was never a big Star Wars book reader, but I just know from buddies that were big into the books and everything. So it's kind of, even though they wiped out that canon when Disney bought it, it's kind of neat how they kind of work some things back in. I'm also curious of how he actually comes across Chewbacca. Like, some things like that are going to be cool to see.
I've got a feeling it's going to be something along the lines of, like, Chewbacca is the reason why he doesn't continue with the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe his first mission out of the Academy or some shit, or like the Academy sends him to do a slave run of Wookiees or whatever. Because I think they're gonna probably give us more Chewie for sure.
Yeah.
Right. So I like to, and the extended universe always had them in slavery and all the other shit. I see that's where they're going.
Yeah, I think that's what would turn him. Because it seems like his heart's in the right place and he has that ambition. It's more of like to be a pilot, and maybe that's why he looks like he's going for a straight up job interview. So yeah, maybe something does turn him away from that. Like he says, I thought for myself. I did find something very interesting that, and I only found it because on my last show I did a revisit of Empire Strikes Back, and because of my show prep, I thought Solo might have dropped last week. So I had the show prep for Solo actually sitting next to the show prep for Empire, because I was ready for either show. And I was going through to make sure I had the notes still for this episode. And the funny thing I came across was for the writer for the screenplay for this movie is Lawrence Kasdan. And it was also, his name was also on the screenplay for Empire. I never realized that, and I can't believe that they didn't make a bigger deal about that, because Empire was Han Solo's movie, arguably.
Yeah, pretty much. You're not wrong on that.
And if you actually think back, knowing that information, you look at the way the Falcon moved and everything, it has that, like, that action-packed. I mean, and he also has a writing credit actually on The Force Awakens. So whatever it is about Lawrence Kasdan, he loves writing that Millennium Falcon because he loves, like, making that ship move. But it's just interesting to know.
It's a cool ship.
Yeah. Well, it's almost its own character.
It really is, and it's got a lot of character to it. I'm wondering how fresh we see it, and I'm wondering how he winds up in possession of with it. I'm also wondering if it doesn't end the movie with it in Lando Calrissian's hands.
Yeah, well, I think, doesn't he get it from Lando? Like, it originally is Lando's ship, I believe.
I think so, yeah. I want to see just how that turns out. Like, I want to see how Lando Calrissian ends up giving it to Han Solo.
Yeah, I've always been curious. Is it like some kind of gambling thing or some kind of debt or, exactly how he got that ship. I want to see that at least.
I'm wondering if it's not a kind of thing where it'd be fun, and I would write it as if they bet the ship on getting out of a risky scenario, right?
Yeah.
And maybe Han Solo's going to pilot it, and he goes, well, if you can get us out of here, you can have the thing. Yeah. And that's how he winds up with it.
That would be cool.
That would be good. I mean, that's where I would go with it. But at the same time, it's like, who knows, you know?
You mentioned that the ship and the way it looked. That was like one of the surprises, because when you actually first meet the Millennium Falcon in A New Hope, how they talk about being like an old hunk of junk, and, you know, and even Force Awakens is a little more beat up. It didn't even like cross your mind like this thing used to be, you know, like a car. Like, here it is, brand new, and they show you that clean. Even like the cushioning is like tighter of that little hallway where it's, you see, you know, it looked like big pillows before, but it looks sweet. And they didn't show us much about the outside, what kind of paint job the Falcon has.
I really do wonder if it's not just a fake out, that it's not going to wind up being a Millennium Falcon. It'll be something else.
I don't know. It seemed like the part that corner where Han comes around and goes, you know, Chewie, we're home, in Force Awakens. I don't know. It kind of looked like the Falcon. I don't remember those little like lights on the top, but that's something else that could be gone.
I mean, I could see it being the prototype, or it being like the model ship for the Falcon, and then he actually gets it and it's a hunk of junk. Or we don't really know what that is yet. I know it seems like it's a Falcon, but it didn't 100% say Falcon to me. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. You know, it looked like the Falcon, but yeah, there's no proof. It could have been a fake out. Yeah, they show you a brand new ship. I did like Woody Harrelson. I like his presence in it, and they didn't show us too much of him.
Yeah, I want to know what he is.
Yeah.
Because he's such a great actor, especially now that he's gotten a little older now. And I don't see the guy from Cheers anymore.
No.
I see a distinguished statesman. Because, I mean, he was great in the Hunger Games.
Yes.
For the movies that those were.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine him not being great in this.
No, everything he's in, he like steals the show. I got a feeling he's going to become like an iconic character, like in the likes of Boba Fett, just because of like, you know, putting that Woody spin in it. Like, people are not going to forget whoever he is or becomes. I'm curious about Lando because like it says a lot in the IMDb that like Lando's like a criminal leader, which really could be anywhere, because my first concerns were they were going to pass this off as a young Harrison Ford, but it seems like they're really shooting towards like this is a kid. Like, it's really like in A New Hope, he was calling Luke kid, so I can only assume he was in his 30s, maybe later 20s, that they were trying to pass off as. Yeah,
they don't really tell us when this is in the time frame of any of those movies. They really don't.
If you go back to the way Rogue One was marketed, and, you know, the movie poster, it kind of looked a lot like, you know, the classic Star Wars look, where it was like, you know, the picture of Darth Vader and all the face and everything. And I noticed the way the marketing has changed up, where they're using the oranges and yellows, and the movie poster doesn't look like your standard Star Wars movie poster. Also, that might be a reason for the May release, that's another curiosity, because what I was curious was, a lot of people walked into Rogue One thinking it was the sequel to Force Awakens.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're not doing that, and they're making a conscious decision to change the format of the pictures and the posters and promotional materials, and even the May release, because they're going to dominate May. December has a lot of great movies in it, but May is going to be all about the Star Wars movie. It's going to be Han Solo crazy.
Well, the funny thing is, the only other thing happening in May is Infinity War, which is Disney anyway. So, they're win-win. Like, Disney's got the whole month of May covered.
Yeah, and stealing the number one spot from yourself is not that big deal.
No.
But I also wonder if they didn't put it in May because Infinity War's there, so that no matter what, they have a good May.
Yeah. Yeah, just like their monthly numbers. I don't know. Do movie theaters run like that? Do they run like a? Yeah, they probably do.
I don't think it's monthly, but it could be a quarter thing. But
yeah.
Either way, they can also, if it doesn't stay the number one movie for a while, it's because they'll get knocked off by another one of their properties, which is not nearly as big a black eye if you think about it.
Yeah, it's like they're hedging their bets. Yeah, quarterly in case it tanks. That's very interesting. Yeah.
I mean, worst case scenario, they wind up with a movie that's third or fourth, but the number one movie is going to be Infinity Wars. Infinity Wars is going to be the number one movie in America for at least 2 weeks.
Yeah.
For sure. Doesn't matter what happens. That's just how that's going to work out.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Any of the Marvel movies are basically guaranteed number one movie for 2 weeks.
Yes.
So if it comes out, I don't know when exactly Solo's coming out and when Infinity War's coming out. I wouldn't be surprised if they wind up with a special Infinity Wars trailer at Solo to try and drum up business for Solo.
That would be smart too. Or do you push a fuller, more detailed Solo and Infinity War?
Either way, they're going to have. I guarantee they're going to have some kind of marketing tie-in for the Marvel movie because it's the same. It's the same now. So why wouldn't they?
Yeah. That's really smart. They're using it to bounce off each. I didn't even consider that. They were using the marketing. But I do, everybody who was watching the trailers, like they're hoping they're going to see Boba Fett and see Jabba the Hutt. But I think at this point of Solo's life, I think if they work that in, maybe they can squeeze a Boba Fett in there, but I think they try to force things and tie it into A New Hope. Granted, Rogue One did it successfully, but I don't know if they could do it like as smoothly. It might be better for them to just stay away so they don't have that, like, that flashback of like actually hurting the canon of Star Wars, that fan backlash. So maybe it's like best for the movie since it's riskier. I don't know. I'm willing
to bet though, if Jabba does show up, it'll be the end credit scene.
Yeah.
They'll make it, because I don't think they're going to do a movie about Han Solo without mentioning Jabba the Hutt at least once. Or they'll set up for potentially the sequel, which I hope is Lando Calrissian, or Lando, not Solo.
I'm very curious about Donald Glover, because I know he's good, he's funny, he's entertaining, but can he pull off that Lando charm? Like, well, what do we have here? I think that little Lando smoothness.
I feel your doubt deep in my heart. It's like you haven't even watched Atlanta. If you watched Atlanta, you'd understand he has this. He made a guy that lives in a storage locker seem real cool.
Okay.
So I can't imagine him not pulling off Lando Calrissian, who is one of the bad ASs of the Star Wars franchises.
Okay, I'll take your word on that because I have not seen Atlanta, Tim, but I trust you. So if you give me your word,
if he doesn't pull it off, I'll eat a piece of overalls or something. I promise you, he's gonna make it work. He's too charming, too good. I almost wish they'd just let him direct the thing because Atlanta's been pretty good. But I don't know. I'm scared that they're going to make this a buddy comedy and not tell us, which would be, I would prefer if they made that because they've got all of this potential for these movies. And some of the Marvel movies, like Winter Soldier, was straight up a spy movie.
Yes.
It was basically a spy movie that had to have superheroes in it. So why not just have a buddy cop movie set in the Star Wars universe that's Lando and Han Solo, or a heist movie?
Yeah.
Which was basically what Rogue One was. Like
an Ocean's 11, like this. Maybe it's like based around whatever heist they're trying to pull. I'm not sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if Woody Harrelson doesn't turn out to be the mastermind of a crew of space criminals. Because they have to be space criminals because of Star Wars. But if they're not space criminals trying to steal something from the Empire, I wouldn't be surprised if they're not stealing the Millennium Falcon or something like that. It's going to be good, I'm sure. I have faith in all the people making it. I mean, Ron Howard doesn't make bad movies.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got all the money in the world basically behind him. So I can't imagine him not pulling out something good.
Never get tired of seeing those old ships. I mean, it's like they're just finding like more clever ways to deliver to us. But it is going to be nice being back in that era.
Yeah, those old ships also, it gives you a sense of scale.
Mm-hmm.
And all the what do you want to call them? Like the main entries in the franchise?
The episodics.
The episodics. They're so giant, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They're such big movies. And these are smaller. It feels like, so Rogue One, I mean, I don't know how you do spoilers on the show, but spoiler, I'm about to spoil a movie that came out. The fact that they all died is just great for a Star Wars movie.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and there's a lot of loose characters that you won't know their fate in this movie. So yeah, it is like the unknown is kind of cool, which is why I'm almost hoping they kind of stay away from like the tie-ins to A New Hope and just kind of make it a standalone, more like tell us about his character more than like how he like winds up meeting Luke.
And there's nothing saying they couldn't pop up 20 years from now in the other episodics.
True. Totally true. That would be very clever and very interesting. That is a possibility. All in all, really excited, curious to see this movie, what the plans are, how all the pieces are gonna fall together. Like I said, a lot of skepticism in the beginning. I want to give a special thank you to my guest Tim Murphy. Tim, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. You want to tell us a little bit about the Orlando Indie Comedy Fest coming up?
Well, it runs from March 1st through 4th. It's in Orlando. It's in basically the Mills District area, Mills City area, downtown Orlando area.
Okay.
It's 4 nights of comedy. A fest pass is $45. We got some great headliners. We have a mystery headliner on Sunday that you can't miss.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. We got 50 out-of-town comics coming from all across the country. We picked from the best 400 comedians that submitted, so we got some real good ones. We got some special shows. It's going to be fantastic.
And once again, that's March 1st through 4th. If you guys want more information or to purchase tickets, make sure you go check out OrlandoIndieComedy.com. I'll be sure to have a link in the episode description. Tim, thanks again for your time. It's been great.
Hey, no problem. Thanks, brother.